Ivan's going to start off with.
Thanks. I'm not going to be doing too much talking because I know we are in kind of a tight schedule, so we're just going to start off with a short video that I did a number of years ago in 2003, and I'll just continue from there. This is you walked into the space and you saw that. So just rather than kind of go into what I'm kind of about, I just said I just kind of blast a few letters and words. I'm very interested in space and architecture and the screen, how art is affected by mediated technologies in general, and screens that we kind of surround ourselves with. So I like space. And I like some of these following words as well. So I said I'd just leave those words there, space, which is designated by the triangle, which then goes back into the camera, comes back out, goes back into the VCR, and then that was played again, back in through the TV, which created this space here, which is designated by the rectangle, which then goes back into the camera, and that loops into the VCR again, so you get this kind of spiraling effect. Which creates the final image, which is designated by this square on the outside. So these are the kind of things that I was like interested in terms of like not just the space of the screen, but the temporal space that you can find. How we interpret, how language is coded and what we're receiving from the screen. Like what we see is not necessarily what we get. It's just playing with these ideas. Nobody knew Morse code. Run a bit better online now. So I'll just stop that. So these drawings from people playing Pac-Man, and I recorded Pac-Man onto these tapes as people played, so that you get these drawings or maps then of the game that you played, and if you run the head, or the reason it's called Namjoon Pac-Man, I should say, is in the 1970s Namjoon Pac did a piece called Random Access, whereby he took people's narratives and so this is my current project at the moment. It's my MA project that I've been working on, and it's called The Fall. And basically, like I said, I'm very interested in architectural programs and just in different types of space that we deal with, and especially virtual spaces that are becoming more and more prominent in our society, and how we deal with virtual spaces. Like you're always making proposals. You're always like trying to project what your idea is going to be, what your plan for a space is, and you have to get across your idea to these people who don't generally, the people who are behind the money usually are not the people that you can deal with. So basically, I took the Google SketchUp has all these default figures, for placing into architectural situations, and I just found this interesting that one of them was this falling figure, like I don't know, falling out of what buildings, I can think of a few, but I just thought it was interesting to deal with this, so I took this falling figure and I unfolded it into, I use this program, I'll show you. Or you can just watch this. So you unravel it. I've got a program here. It's called Pepakura. It's very cheap. Japanese company make it, but it unfolds any 3D image. It's designed for making little toy models like on printers. So it's designed for A4 printers and very simplified models. But you know, with a bit of time and dealing with 3D programs properly, you can print it out. So I'm printing these out on A0 pieces of card, and basically when you fold it back together, it's absolutely exactly like the original polygonal image from the computer program. So I'm using these figures. I'm like building multiples of this falling figure and putting it into different spatial situations. And so aren't actually in perspective distance. This one is actually smaller than this one. This one is smaller than this one. So you can scale them and you can force perspective. So if you look up here, that one up there isn't actually far away, it's just smaller. It's just at the top of his foot. So you know, you can create these really interesting effects of forced perspective by doing this, and I'm kind of messing around as well with these things like falling apart. Again, like the idea of the screen, I went right back to the idea of the page, and like dealing with, you know, because these architectural are really drafting, they're drawing, you're drawing on the page, you know, you're doing architectural drawings, and that's the intention of them. And so I'm just playing around with it. Sorry, Coco Rosie in the background. So there's, I'm just playing with the idea of them falling through architectural structures, and that's the fluorescent lights. Then, you know, the building that we're going to be in, like the digital hub, is where the show is going to be in June. And there's all, you know, it's very industrial kind of space, warehousey, and like you always associate fluorescent lights with industrial spaces. And so I just thought, like, they're going to be like falling through, this kind of type of falling through, and I just started having them explode.